Adrian. Hi. Welcome
All
all of
right.
our team guests, and thank you so much for bearing with our technical difficulties. You know, if I posted the invitation on social media, every time I do that, maybe a troll or something gets a hold of it and there's some confusion. So now I know what not to do again. But
Okay.
welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. We're waiting for Dr. Sherilyn Lee. Let me explain to you what this is. This is a tribute to Michael Jackson, started by our Michael Jackson Birthday Club. Um, Four friends I know that have the same birthday as Michael Jackson. Chris D'Artremont, who I grew up with, I went to high school with. Carla Brundage, who I also grew up with, and our mom was my professor. Kelly Armstrong sends her regrets. She sprained her ankle. She was also born on Michael Jackson's birthday, August 29th. So we
Wow.
started a little birthday club. Due to COVID, it was rescheduled to a Halloween celebration.
Well, I know someone who's born exactly the same date.
Uh,
Oh, there you go. And
yeah.
and also in the same year as Michael Jackson, 1958. Friend of
Oh,
mine in Martinique called Fred the Dread.
Fred the Dread. Shout out
Yeah,
to Fred the Dread.
that's right.
shout out to anyway,
Uh,
welcome in. So without any further ado, my one of my co-hosts, Julie, will introduce our special guests, David Hinds and Dr. Sherilyn Lee.
all right.
My video. Do you mind?
Did you hear me?
So you said video, and then all of a sudden the image and the sound
Okay,
got
okay.
cut.
Okay, while we're waiting for Julie, I'm proud to introduce my first guest is in Birmingham, England. He comes all the way from England, so he's going to go first. He is a Grammy winner and toured all over the world. You might know of his reggae band Steel Pulse, lead singer, songwriter who knows Chant a Sama Day, Rally Around the Flag, just endless amounts of militant hits. He's here today because he made a cover several years ago with the Easy Dub All Stars and Mojo Morgan, a cover of Michael Jackson's "The Girl Is Mine." Take it
That's
away,
right.
David Dredd, David Dredd Hines.
Wow, that was an interesting experience. I actually recorded that vocal in a few hotel rooms around Brazil. You know, the offer came on a table by Easy Stars, Michael Goldwasser from out of New York,
Uh-huh.
who had his compilation, his Michael Jackson compilation, and he asked me to be featured on it. So I did it also with Mojo from Morgan Heritage.
Okay, so why did you pick that particular Michael Jackson song?
Well, it picked me. It was that kind of thing. Like I said, it was a compilation, and it was a track that I think the producer thought he can hear my voice on it, and it just worked out. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. One of the hardest things I find throughout my entire music career is to learn someone else's lyrics
Uh-huh.
and also try and interpret someone else's melody and their mood of the song. So it's never been easy for me to do that. So every time it takes place, it's a challenge for me. And at the end of the experience, I thoroughly enjoyed. And I felt as if I've learned something from it and just gone that much better as a musician doing so.
Okay. So as a huge international star yourself, have you ever met Michael Jackson?
No, never had a chance to meet Michael Jackson. I'm trying to think what the closest I've been to meeting Michael Jackson. Wow, I've met people who've met him, and sort of compared heights, from what they say slightly taller than I am, but really skinny, shy, the whole 9 yards and everything else.
Uh-huh.
Guys like people from Musical Youth, the lead singer of Musical Youth,
Uh-huh.
Dennis
Uh-huh.
was where they used to work out and do things together musically. So Musical Youth coming from our neck of the woods told me what it was like to be performing with Michael Jackson.
And what did they tell you?
Well, of course, he was terrific.
It was terrific. That's awesome. Any questions from our audience from Grammy winner David Dread Hinds?
I don't even know who wrote it.
Hi, this
Can you
is
hear us?
Julie. Oh, did someone else? I kind of have a question. You know, being from England, and what was your thinking of when you first heard about the Jacksons? Do you remember what it was like to hear like this big American Black family singing and being so popular?
Very good question. As a matter of fact, when we started out playing music, learning to play the guitar, our lead guitarist at the time, Basil, was an ardent admirer of the Jackson Five, and in particular Michael Jackson. So we'll be learning songs like "I'll Be There" and you know all those kind of songs, "Heartbreak Hotel," and it was just terrific to know that was such an energy coming from out of America. You know, 5 young Black youths with that energy, and we sort of try to have that kind of energy too. You know, make sure we sort of moving and have sort of kind of theatric going on stage while we're performing. So yeah, Michael Jackson was just something else, when he did songs like Ben and all those solo type projects that he did. He was awesome at the time, and then knowing that he was only age 9 and 10 and then we went up to 11 and all that kind of stuff. We just followed him all the way through. There's Michael, Marlon, Jermaine, Tito, and, Jackie. And then afterwards, Randy came, and it was like one awesome, totally 100% talented type of entity going on right there with the Jackson 5. They were a trendsetter, and they were a milestone, and they were a yardstick for all the musicians that want to go out there and be somebody.
That's great. And shout out to my baby cousin Erica Evans is here today. She and I actually used to sing "The Girl Is Mine," and we used to fight over Michael Jackson. My baby cousin. So hi, Erica. I don't know if you can hear me, but we used to fight over Michael and who would get him. I was older, so I claimed him, and she said she's younger and cuter. So anyway, hi, Erica.
I think all the girls back then claimed who was around their age group, because since we were around Jermaine's age group, the girls were all about Jermaine at the time. And
yeah.
then then Michael, then it was Jackie as well. If you're old, like a teenager going into your late teens, it was like Jackie and all that kind of stuff. That's how it was. Everybody just loved every inch of the Jacksons. Every single part of them was just loved by us over here.
That's awesome. Any other questions for our legend guest, David Dread Hinds?
I have a question. I have 2 questions. Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I met you in Kahuku in Hawaii a long time ago with Shelah and my mom.
All right. How you doing?
Hi. Thanks for coming. What is, are you also August 29th birthday?
No, I'm actually June 15th. And I'm,
Leo?
2 years, 2 months older than Michael. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
All right.
Dr. Catherine Waddell Takara.
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.
Voice got cut.
Can you hear me?
Right now I can, yes.
Okay, good. So there were before Michael Jackson, and maybe even after, but I remember there were all of our doo-wop singers, and they danced on stage, but everything was synchronized. Everything was like a performance, like a dance. And he, being the individual that he came out to be, or that he, came out to be after he kind of went on his own, it seemed like to me it was a very almost revolutionary thing how he came out there compared to the track record that we had before with rhythm and blues and all of that. And then kind of it was a different tempo. It was a different movement to his music than what, say, I mean, I love the Temptations, or I love the OJs and all of those. I love them, but it was just such a different thing. The first time I heard him, I think I must have been maybe 13 or 15 or something like that. And I couldn't get over it. I was in my cousin who was shot in the head with the civil rights movement, Sammy Young. I was with him and his brother, Steve, in their bedroom in Tuskegee, Alabama. And Michael Jackson came on and just couldn't believe it. I mean, it was just like revolutionary. And his age, of course.
Well,
so my question was, did you feel the leap between how he performed and those who were older than or before him? Did you?
Most definitely. Number one, it was someone we can relate to because, you know, the whole entity, the Jackson 5 themselves were around our age group. So it sort of gave us that you can do it too kind of thing going on. Then the clothes that they were wearing was still a cut above the rest. We was around a period of time when it was out of left-wing orientation, you know, like the kind of clothes that Jimi Hendrix would wear with the bell bottoms and the flower type kind of costumes, and the Jackson 5 emulated that kind of scenario. And where, you know, as you can see, the Four Tops were more suit orientated, and, you know, the Temptations and all those guys were more formal type suits, and they all rocked together. The Jackson 5 had a different kind of swing going on, you know, and the swag was different, and the way the swing that they had in their steps was different. The hairdo was a trend in itself, the afros, you know, and the list just goes on to what the Jackson 5 was representing at that time.
Thank you.
That's great. And while David is speaking, we acknowledged our another guest, Dr. Cherilyn Lee, has just logged on. Now, Dr. Lee's story is very interesting. She's a Beverly Hills nurse practitioner, and she was summoned to actually work with Michael Jackson as he was preparing for his This Is It tour back in 2009 before he left us.
Right.
And so Dr. Lee had the pleasure of not only working with Michael Jackson, but treating him. Welcome, Dr. Lee.
Dr. Lee, greetings.
Oh, she's got her earpiece on. Okay, hi.
Okay.
Dr. Lee, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Let's see if Ms. Lee is muted. Dr. Lee? Hi, Erica. Hi, we just gave you a shout out. We're talking about how we used to sing The Girl Is Mine and fight over Michael.
I'm Michael's #1 fan.
Right.
I hear that.
Right. Erica, meet David. That's my baby cousin.
All right, Erica.
And Dr. Lee, can you hear us? Dr. Lee? I think, Carla, do you know, Carla, Julie, do you know if Dr. Lee is muted?
No, she's not muted. But Dr. Lee, your microphone is not connected. Somehow it's not showing up. So Dr. Lee you're
all right.
Thank you.
I see someone.
Maybe I'm in a text her to let her know. But David, so
no, I think she's connecting. I can see that she's connecting to audio right now.
Okay. And so David, due to copyright laws, we're not allowed to actually play your version of The Girl Is Mine, but they won't strike us if you actually sing a few bars.
I'm trying. That's another thing. That's why I told you I was never good at remembering lyrics. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, like, that girl is mine. The goddamn girl is mine. Don't waste your time. Da 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 da. The goddamn girl is mine.
That was awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, well, so I can remember. I mean, like I said, when it comes to lyrics, I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box.
That's okay.
Unfortunately.
Because, well, being that you've written thousands of them, So who got the girl between the two of y'all? Who got the girl?
I would say, well, it's another thing because we didn't know whether we should do it the Jamaican style and sort of ragamuffin it up a bit, or do it along the in the same vein. when we keep saying, no, she's mine. You know, I'm a lover, not a fighter, and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I would say that remains to be seen. We both had her. How's that?
That's awesome. And Dr. Lee, are you able to speak now?
I am able to speak. Oh my goodness. Sorry about the whole technical stuff. I'm still twisted up here, but I think
Yes,
I can hear you and I can definitely see you.
All right. Welcome.
See.
And I don't know if you heard me, but I was telling them that you not only knew Michael Jackson, but you worked with him in his last days, and you're going to tell us what it was like to actually work with Michael and give him a hug and all that jazz. Welcome, healer.
Thank you. It's truly a blessing to be here. And I'm so sorry that I missed, you know, the very beginning, because I know I missed some imparting really healing words. And I'm so sorry I missed the beginning. But, you know, working with, and again, it's an honor to be here and to see faces I don't even know and I'm going to meet today. But to work with Michael Jackson was truly an honor. It was an honor, and it started off with me receiving a call from his security people, because the security people at the time were my patients as well. And they called me because, and it's all in the notes, I mean, it's all in the media. The kids had a slight cold and Michael didn't want them to be sick. You know, he was a wonderful father and he wanted the best for his children and himself. So I was able to go to his home and work with the children, and lo and behold, Michael was there at the house. I was really shocked. So we had a conversation. And, you know, it started off so beautiful because I was told in the beginning that he did not want to be treated like a celebrity. If you come in as a practitioner, he did not want to be treated like a celebrity. So I had to tell him, Michael, I have to get this out of my system. So I just said, I followed you for years, love you, want to give you a hug, heart to heart, because I hug heart to heart. And once I got all that out of my system, I said, now let's take care of business. So he was fine with that. And we had a wonderful, wonderful relationship. Yeah, you know, I've worked with celebrities in the past. And to me, celebrities, we're all children of the Most High. We're all children. You know, I don't care what titles you have on this, some others. But to work with him was like working with someone from a whole spiritual realm. There's so many things that have happened to me as knowing him, you know, when he was alive, when he was with us, and then even when he was still with us, but not in the present, how he's come to me on so many levels. Lights have come up in my house when I was just, you know, praying over things and meditating over things, and he would just come into the arena. I have been places and going through, I mean, enormous situations, and a song would come on and say, "You're not alone." It would be Michael. So it's been, there's no words to really explain my relationship with him. And it's still there. It's still a wonderful relationship, you know, with him. But working with him, number one, he was, and I, like I said before, I worked with a lot of entertainers. Michael was a father. I used to tell him, I'm going to give you the Father of the Year award because he was a dad who loved his children. And you would go into the home and there was, you know, he made sure that everything was done systematically, and kids, it wasn't like a lot of these entertainers' kids, they just all over the place and doing whatever. When he was there, then he made sure that you studied, you had dinner at a certain hour. Those things are very important for family. So he had a wonderful family life, and you know, and just loving. There was many occasions that I was there, and Michael, I would see him in the evening, and Michael will be so involved in what he was doing. He was the type person that said, if I'm going to do a job, everybody knows him. He puts 100% in what he's doing. You know, it was a lot to learn and watch him. And what he would do is 100% in what he was doing. A lot of times he would forget I was there to even see him. And this would be like 1 o'clock in the morning. He's still busy, high energy, doing what he wanted to do and give to the world. What he wanted to do was to give his all in all to everyone, to everyone. But most important, he was a father and he took care of home. Anyone have any questions? I know I can go on, and I feel like I'm kind of talking to myself.
I'd like to ask you a question. I'd like to ask you a question. Along your travels during that period of time with Michael, did you ever get a chance to meet Dr. Conrad Murray, I think his name was? Did you get a chance to meet him?
No. And I'm so glad I did not. You know, and I wondered at one point, how did we not overlap at his house? Because in looking at, you know, the trial, you know, I was there from January until April, and I was there day and night. I can't even tell you the number of times I was with him, day and night with Michael. But he made what I was not supposed to come in contact with him. Michael had a way of setting that up where I did not come in contact with. I don't even say his name. Unfortunately, I just cannot let his name come through my mouth because of what happened there. And it was unfortunate. And actually, he tried to throw, you know, TMZ interviewed me and said, you know, your deposition and Murray's deposition, this is newsworthy, both became unsealed. This was an unsealed document, unsealed. And Murray lied on me and said I did the same thing. Well, by then, you know, if you follow the Spirit, and the Spirit told me to make sure you go out and say something, I didn't want to say a thing. So if I back up a little bit, the night of his transition, Michael came to me in the Spirit, and he said, you have to go tell what I asked you for. Because I told him no. I told him no only because there's certain things have to be done in order to be monitored properly. And you don't do this at home. I'm not a physician, PhD in holistic. I do have I am medically with a board certification, but not as a physician. But I told him, I know a lot of anesthesiologists, but this is not something you do at home. But Michael's problem was insomnia. It wasn't drugs, it was insomnia. He had a severe case of insomnia. We worked on so many things natural. I had him sleeping up to 5 hours. And he said, well, I want to sleep longer as he became close to the concert. So he wanted to sleep longer than 5 hours. And he wanted to go to sleep right away. So I did not come in contact with that person, which I don't have any respect for. And I have actually written a book, and I have placed this in the book because it's amazing how in 2010, my mother made her transition in 2010. While I was in the hospital with my mother, there was a nurse there. And she said, I saw you on TV in 2009. Did you know the doctor? I said, no. She said, I knew him. I worked with him in Chicago. And do you know he was always doing procedures on people he did not know what he was doing? Now, when I said, are you willing to go to the media and, you know, are you willing to talk about this? She said, yes, she gave me her number, but then later I could not find her. And my mother that same day made her transition very peacefully. My mother was so at peace.
So what made you think if this person is like inept, so to speak, that someone like himself not having the potential get into the circle of Michael Jackson that would probably have, you know, the best of everything? Why would he pick why was someone in his midst that was substandard? You know, what do you think?
This is one thing I found out about Michael. Michael feels that if you are a medical person, especially a physician, and you're of color, you're African American, he felt that you had to work 10 times harder. So that's why he trusted him. Not knowing he wasn't But my feeling is, and I know we're just on Zoom, my feeling is near the end, near the time he was working with him, he wasn't comfortable. This is why things took a turn. Because if you look at the paperwork, and this is not me just putting this out here, if you look at the time frame of when Michael was supposed to sign for him to come on board, Michael never signed. Michael never signed for him to be his doctor to pay him. Because I think he really felt somewhere in his spirit, I really don't want this man. Or why would he ask me to help him find someone to help him with his sleep? Michael had a severe problem. Even his mother has stated in an interview when she did it with Oprah that he's always had a problem with insomnia. Now, people who, there's reasons for that. Medically, there's reasons for that. And we were working on all that. But he was saying, I need to get to sleep right away. I don't want to take hours and 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever. I want to lay my head on the pillow and go to sleep. And I said, well, there's things we can take that will help you. You know, I've been working with people with insomnia. I've been as a practitioner for over 30 years. You know, so there's things that can help you to sleep. But there are also some other medical things that, as men, you know, that will wake you up at night. And one of those things will wake you up to go to the restroom, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So we went through everything. I'm very thorough of what I do. So I'm going to comb through the physical, the emotional. I'm really big on optimum lab testing because optimally we're going to know where we are when it comes to our health. Not mainstream medicine, but it's still medicine, but it's more optimally. What is your optimum level of all your blood tests? So your neurotransmitters, you look at everything when it comes to insomnia, you know, everything. You look at sleep hygiene. That's why that came up in the trial. It came up in the trial because it was in my chart. I'm the one that covered everything as it relates to insomnia. They even found my neurotransmitter. Oh, gee. I don't know if you can see me. Let me see what's happening here. Okay. You can see me?
Yes, we can see you now.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
I'm going to, because I was trying to get my computer going, but I don't know what happened. So I'm going to charge this phone. I'm going to still work on the computer because it says the battery is low. But in order to make sure that a person has, you know, we've all had problems with insomnia. You know, we go to sleep, we wake up, we can't stay asleep, it takes longer to fall asleep. So there's so many components to insomnia. But because he was so high profile, and because not so much profile, so much energy, Michael had beyond the energy and creativity. And when you have so much creativity at night, your mind is racing. And that'll keep you awake at night. That'll keep you awake. So we talked about all that. I spent the night with Michael. I took him to meditation when he was asleep. I made him warm, wonderful teas and tucked him in bed at night. You know, because he felt trustworthy of me. Number one, he couldn't believe I was a grandmother. So he felt comfortable with me as a person. And I was so thankful for that because and I kept saying to him, you know, because of your age, I know that, but you feel like family. I grew up with you. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to give you the best and do the best I can for you as I would my own loved one, because that's how I feel about you. So I spent days and nights with Michael. A lot I couldn't say in the media. I probably have said more here than I actually have said anywhere. That's because I'm with people that I feel are friends, you know, and people who are caring and who want to know.
I have a question. How did you feel after it first happened? Because I remember the media blaming the medical teams and stuff. And how did you cope through those the first months after it happened, trying to grieve Michael, but also being in the spotlight in a negative way?
It wasn't easy. I did suffer a mild heart attack. It was my doctor, my daughter who looked at me one day in the clinic. She said, "Mom, I don't like the way you look." So she ended up calling the paramedics, and they told me I was impending a heart attack. It was extremely stressful. You know, there was people, as we know, who loved him dearly, like we do. There's people who did not. The people who did not was targeting me. I mean, I've had one lady wanted to physically fight me going into a restaurant, you know, mainly because she said, I said things about the doctor. I said, if you really listen closely to everything I said on every interview, I never mentioned his name. I never mentioned his name. My only concern is he asked me for something and I said you should look for it because he asked me and I said no. And that's only because he had insomnia, not because he didn't have a drug habit. He had insomnia, severe. And he said that was the only thing that was going to help him. Going back to, you know, the Coca-Cola, you know, incident that he had, he was given propofol or Depavan. He knew it as Depavan. He was given that during that time. And the only thing he could think of, I slept so well. I want to have that again because I was able to sleep. Not knowing that this, and then doctors, people sometimes for money, for the love of money. I'm going to give him anything he wants. I don't believe in that. Never have.
So I guess Sheila's supposed to be the one asking the questions, but I'm so intrigued.
No. By all means, you.
How are the children? How are the children? How are they?
Children, go ahead. I'm sorry.
How's the rest of the family embracing them? I mean, is the whole paradigm changed or what? Because, you know, when families, there's usually when there's, you know, someone passes away, there's always a different change of a different mindset. I just wonder if everybody's still embracing each other and all that kind of stuff.
I'm just going to say that I was close to Michael. I was never close to his family.
Okay.
Only because I would see him at his home. I did meet his mom and dad later. Those are only two. I did have a conversation with one of the sisters. I'm not going to go into that because I thought it should have been handled differently, but it wasn't. His family loved him dearly. He had a way of staying away from some of the family. On the male side, I think, because he did make a comment, I'm not going to go into what he said, but he was comfortable with me. His mother, I know, came around all the time. So he was happy with his mom, and I was supposed to meet her, but I did have a chance, like I said, after to meet his mother and his father. I did share something with his father that I thought was pretty profound, because Michael, I shared half of it. Michael said, I would have never been the business person that I am had not been for my dad. So he was really happy with his father for the business side, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as his family, I was there a lot with his daughter, both his sons, very close to them during that time. Since then, they are, they're doing their own thing. I don't really see them. I did see them twice after. I'm not around them as much. His daughter and I have communicated here and there via text. We have. His son, I know, has finished school. I'm very happy for him. He started a nonprofit, so he's helping the homeless. I'm so proud of his son. And some of it is they're still processing. The one thing I like to say is I'm with several groups, and they like to celebrate, in June. Well, they like to celebrate the time he passed. And I know with Paris, she said that was the worst time of her life. She never wanted to do any celebration around that date at all. So I like to respect people. I like to respect family. She said his birthday, fine. I would love to do that. But as far as the worst day of her life, she said was the day that he passed. So, she went through a lot. I'm not going to get into any of that part because I wasn't really around her, but I do know a lot of people who were. We have communicated, like I said, via, social media. or not so much social media, but through, what do you call that? Messenger. So only thing I want to say is they're handling things well. It can be expected. I mean, but how do you ever get over it? I mean, you can't get over it, period. But how do you deal with life every day that every time you turn around, you hear his song, someone's talking about him. I don't walk into a supermarket unless his song is playing every time. So that's something they have to deal with. And they're dealing with it pretty well. I think they're really dealing with it a lot better now, yes.
Musically, they're not that I'm veering from the subject, you know, the off record behind the scenes scenario, you had, like, for example, Bob Marley off record used to always you know, when he's on tour, would be humming, and another one down, and another one down, another one bites the dust. The Queen track. I heard Bob used to like that song a lot. Was there any particular artist or acts that Michael was into that, you know, you probably hear him sort of had his eye on, you know, how he felt about any particular act or artist that he had an opinion on?
There's a call coming. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. First I was reading your lips before, but now I can hear you.
Okay, I didn't know how to work with the iPhone. And a call was coming through. I have a patient in the hospital right now, so the family is calling. But ask me the question again. I'm sorry. I want to make sure.
Yes, I was saying, not that I'm veering from the subject, but sometimes a musician, you know, an artist in his own rights, you know, an icon in his own rights, will probably have his eye on some particular style of music or a particular artist. And I remember, you know, back in the day, you know, Marley was known to like Queen's Another One Bite the Dust, for example. You know, hum it a few times and stuff. Yes. And so I wondered if there's any particular artist that Michael Jackson had his eye on and said, hang on, I kind of like that guy or this particular female or whatever, where, you know, or who we saw as like a competition or what have you, or somebody he could.
Well, you know, he did mention a couple of people. We basically spoke about health and health and things of the world, but I know Stevie Wonder was one.
Yes.
That he spoke a lot about. Stevie Wonder, Prince.
Oh, he talked about Prince, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Good things?
Prince. Good things, yes.
All right, it's good.
Yeah, because he always felt that they were kind of both, not in competition, but, you know, they were both hardworking people, you know, so he spoke about him. We didn't speak a lot about entertainers. I know he did about Stevie Wonder. I like to call him Mr. Morris because I do know him as well. And I'm just trying to think. I know female, the one comment he did say, I was surprised. Not surprised, but you remember the song that came out? It was where he had, what's her name? She has her own TV show now. Oh gosh, can't think of her name. But he had all those faces of people, and he kept showing all those faces. And a lot.
Are you talking about black and white? Are you talking about the video black and white?
Black and white. Yes, black and white. So he said, Tyra Banks, thank you. He said, okay, I made all those people famous. So he was happy about that. Yeah. He said, when I did that song, I made all those people famous.
That's my favorite, you know, one of my favorite Michael Jackson videos.
Yeah. Yes, he did make a comment about that. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he did say others, but you know, offhand, I don't remember, you know, like I was seeing him late at night, early morning, dealing with his food, dealing with smoothies, dealing with a vitamin B12 IM injections, dealing with vitamin C Myers cocktail. In just one night, I even told him, you know, let me massage your hand and feet with some shea butter. And he laughed at me. He said, you can do my hands, but you're not gonna touch my feet. And I said, no, I want your feet. Let me have your feet. So he laughed at me. He said, no one's gonna see my feet. I said, I wanna see them. But, you know, I left him the shea butter And he said, how much? And I said, I'm giving it to him. So I see he had a real, he had a problem of accepting gifts that people would give him. I said, no, this is a gift. You don't have to pay me. I did things for him as a gift. And he said, no, I'm going to pay you. I said, I don't want you to pay me. I'm doing things for you as a gift. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Not that I'm veering from the subject again, but always remember there's a book that was written by Rita Marley about Bob. And part of the book had a woman coming up to give him a basket of fruits. And they made an announcement. There's a woman, because he's performing at Hope Road, which was a compound where he did his rehearsals and at his studio. So all of a sudden, this woman walks up to the gate and asks to see him. And they gave him a shout and he came up and the woman offered him the basket of fruits. And he stood there, took the fruits and he stared at the woman for quite some time. And then it was an extra long period of time and he stood there staring at the woman. And after a while, he said bye and parted. So the woman went to one of the security that was there at the time and says, why was he there looking at me like that and acting like that? And the person said, well, Bob is not used to being given gifts by anyone. So the moment you gave him a gift, he's thinking that's because you want something in return.
No.
So he stood there. She says, no, but I was just giving him as a gift. So that's why he stood there that long, because he was expecting you to ask for something.
No, I don't think he was expecting anything in return. I just think he was not used to people giving him a gift. The other people who maybe wanted something in return when they gave him things. You know, I'm going to share this real quick. I hope my phone doesn't die. I don't know how to charge it with the earphone attached. But anyway, I was a little taken back because I brought up the fact about the hyperbaric oxygen chamber, because I had one in my clinic at the time. And I said, Michael, where is your chamber? You know, because I've seen it, you know, in the media. I've seen it. He said, oh, I didn't get into that chamber. I got into it to take pictures, but I never let them turn that on. He said, I gave it to Brotman Memorial Hospital. And I said, he said, and they set up a burn unit. I said, I'm in the city. If they had a burn unit for children, I would know about it. So happened the next day I called Brotman Memorial Hospital and I said, do you still have the burn unit there? And do you have the hyperbaric chamber? So happened the lady that answered the phone, she said, I was here during that time. And what they did was, as soon as the media disappeared, they poured down the unit and the doctor took the chamber home. So I went back that night that I was going to see Michael and I told him, I said, Michael, you should go after them because they should not have done that. I mean, I would have loved to have had that chamber because I treat so many people for free in my office. I would have loved to have had the chamber in my clinic. He said, I don't like suing people. I don't like suing people. But then I found out through the nanny when he passed that he had already looked into this chamber and he was going to send it to me as he was leaving. He was buying one for the clinic. But he said, I don't like suing people. I don't like to get involved with all that suing. I said, but that was wrong for them to take it and your $1.6 million and not do anything with it, but keep it for themselves. That's wrong. He said, well, I don't have time to sue people. No. Whatever's due to them, it will happen. But he didn't want to do that.
So that's where the terminology or the phrase or the catch news punchlines and news wacko jacko was based on the oxygen
and he
chamber.
Didn't do any of that. He didn't do any of that. He got into the chamber to take pictures. He said because they hounded him about it. So he took pictures and he got out. And he laughed about it. But this is one thing he said that I utilized in my book I've read because I think it's very powerful. And it has to do with the ego. If you look at the life journey of the ego, if you Google the life journey of the ego, you'll see you have choices you can make. He said, I don't have time to be down here with the little chick quack, quack, quacking and chirp, chirp, chirp He said, that's all gossip. He said, but if I soar with the ego, I keep going higher. But I don't be bothered with the chirp, the gossip, the media. I don't get involved with that.
Okay. Now we're in the 21st century, 2021, where everybody is still wearing their masks. And, you know, you've rewind back 15, 20 years, everybody saw Michael Jackson's and not wearing a mask. And now everybody, the whole world's doing that right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He knew that the air was polluted. I was writing a book. Actually, it was 2 years before the pandemic. It was 21 reasons why you need to wear a mask.
Okay.
Because the particulates in the air are so large. Let me see. The particulates in the air are so large that what it's doing, it can cause Alzheimer's, forms of cancer. The literature is there. So he knew this, especially being in these other countries, inhaling these particles in the air. If you take your finger, run it along your car, you wash your car today, run it along your car the next morning, you have large particulates on your finger. That's what you're inhaling into your lungs. It causes pulmonary embolism. He knew this.
Okay.
And that's why I was writing a book on 21 reasons why you need to wear a mask. But if I put that book out now, people would throw it away.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
And I have to wear a mask when I clean my house because I am so sensitive to dust. I cannot breathe in any dust particles. I've been in 2 comas from asthma. And if I breathe that in, I will be sick. So when I'm doing things around my house, moving clothing, moving books, furniture, anything, I have to put on a mask. And I've done this for 15 years.
So what became of Neverland?
Well, Neverland, I met some of his bodyguards later. And it was a place he never wanted to go back. Because when they went in to raid his place, when he went in to raid it, when he walked in that house, his bed was hanging down the stairway. He was so hurt what they did to the house. He walked out and said, I never want to go back there again.
Wow. See, I never heard about that bit.
No, because I'm very close to one of the bodyguards. Not the ones he had in the end. This is one in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a very dear friend.
Right.
And the ego, he knows so much about the ego. When I brought up the story about the ego, he has a tattoo on his leg. And he named his son Prince.
Wow. Did you say Michael Jackson had an ego tattoo?
No, his friend.
Oh, his friend. Got it.
Who was the bodyguard who told me the whole story. Yeah.
Wow. And anybody who ever has a chance to get one of Dr. Lee's vitamin B injections, please do it. She gave me an injection. I cleaned the entire house in 5 minutes. I felt like I was floating.
Let me just say, the reason why you feel so good with anything I do, the IVs, the vitamin B shot, is because I pray over it first. Anything I give a person, I pray over it first. Just like you bless your food, this is something going in your body. It must be blessed.
Right. And once I was eating with Dr. Lee, and I ordered an orange soda, and I know for somebody like her, a soda is a no-no. And she said, let me see that soda. She put the phone over the soda. She said, this is going to change the chemical makeup of this drink, and it's going to do something to it. I changed the soda. It was like, did this soda come from Wakanda? What happened?
It's funny, I had that device on my phone. I'm glad you brought it up. I don't know if they still have it, but you could place it over water. You could place it, and it changes the molecular structure of it. And I'm going to call the company, and I'll get back with you when you can share it with everyone and see if they're still doing this, because it's really amazing.
Okay, I'll drop Dr. Lee's link to everybody so they can find out how to use our services. Now, for somebody like David, David is on the road a lot and he's a performer. He needs to protect himself. So he is the Michael Jackson of the reggae world now. So he relies on people like yourself, Dr. Lee, to keep him healthy.
The most important thing you need to have, and I just found the bottle. I hope my phone doesn't cut off. I'm gonna go grab it so you can see it. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Well, maybe I can't. But anyway, it's called Argentine Silver. You need to spray that around your face. I spritz it in my eyes, around my face, and when I'm in a public with people, I just spray it. Because in doing that, it blocks bacteria, viruses. I have used the gel on a flesh-eating disease on a lady and healed the wound. So it comes gel and it comes straight. You need to keep that around. You don't need a lot of things, but you must spritz this around you. Because what it does is just bombard all those toxins from being, to gravitate on you. I do this all the time. And I have a birthday in February, which I hope you'll come and sing. I got to find a place. And I'll be 70 years old in February.
Wow.
No, you're not.
February
You're not
when?
70.
21st.
The 21st of February. That's the day Malcolm X got assassinated.
Oh, no.
Oh.
21st of February, you got assassinated. 1965.
Wow.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, my. I'm sorry to hear that.
Well,
Would you
what
mind?
year? You don't mind me? 70. What year? So 22. So you 1952.
52.
Okay. 1952.
Yeah, I would never tell my age, but since I've been in coma, I'm blessed to be back again.
You don't look it. You don't look it.
It's just a number. But I said, I'm not going to go old. I'm going to go younger and wiser. And I'm so proud that that's what's happening here. It's going wiser. Mhm.
Would you mind spelling you said Argentine spray?
No,
Argentine.
Argentine.
I'm going to actually get it because I want you to see the bottle. Because somebody tried to copycat them. So it's sitting right over here on my shelf. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to take the phone with me.
Mhm.
All right.
This is all new technology for me, so bear with me.
Oh, okay. Because what a blessing to have two legends in the room. And we also have Dr. Catherine Waddell Takara. She is a famous poet from Hawaii. She's written several books. And then her daughter, Carla, who's a famous poet in the Bay Area. We have my cousin, Erica, who's top Beverly Hills realtor. Okay, y'all need a house? DM Erica.
Yeah, I'm going to need one soon. I'm going to need one soon.
Denise lives in Vegas and she's a designer. She didn't make this glove I have on now, but she made me one. It's in storage. I put it away so no one could steal it. The one that she made for me, because some people have borrowed it and brought it back all jacked up and oogie, right? So I hid it. But see, Denise.
This is the product. Can you see it?
Okay. Let me see. Argent.
Yeah. Argent. That's the bottle.
Argentine. Okay.
Argentine 21. Argentine 23.
Okay, Argentine.
Argentine 20.
The
23.
reason I want you to show you the bottle because there's some copycats out there.
Argent.
This is
Okay.
the one directly
I'm gonna
from the
put it in
company.
the chat. ARGENTIN.
Yeah.
TYN, I think.
TYN. ARGENTYN.
Argentine 23.
Great to see you, Shelah. I called you as well. Great to see
Okay, I'm texting it to everybody.
you. Okay.
Mhm.
Eileen.
ARGENTIN.
Yes, 23.
23.
I think your autocorrect probably did that, Sheila.
Audio? Oh, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
No, your autocorrect changed it to Argentine.
Oh, sorry about that. Argentine, I know it. Oh, okay, I see
You
the,
see it?
maybe we could, everyone,
Okay.
I'll send the link.
Lee.
I'll send the link to
And
everybody.
I'll send you a picture of it because, like I said, there's
Okay.
some copycats. The
Right.
sister company of this is Sovereign Silver. It's a sister company. This one is the one they send to doctors and practitioners. But I noticed that everything now is on, you can just go online and buy stuff. But if I'll send you the direct phone number to this company so you can get it directly. And I keep this. This is a bottle that I'll take in and put it in a smaller bottle to spray it. And it comes in a gel as well. So the gel is for wounds, bites, because what I'm seeing now is COVID rashes, which is horrible. And most doctors want to label it as shingles. It isn't shingles. It's very painful too. Very, very painful. It's all over your arms, legs, the arms swell, the back of the neck. And these are people, so I like your opinion on this. I'm thinking now that I know 3 people, the husbands were vaccinated, the wives were not. And it's the wives that broke out in these horrible rashes that I looked up, and it's more of a COVID rash from them being vaccinated. So now I'm thinking that this is sexually transmitted because of the fact each party has children and all the children are fine. So if someone can help me kind of look into that, and that was just recently, let me know what you find out, okay?
So hold on, you're saying that the male is vaccinated or not vaccinated?
The male is vaccinated.
And
the
the
male
female
is vaccinated, but the female isn't.
And yet the female contracts that particular shingle, COVID shingle.
This rash.
That rash, yeah.
Mm-hmm. The rash was so bad on my daughter, it looked like leather. The back of her neck looked like leather. She said it felt like something was biting her. And it was nothing biting. And that's how a lot of people are describing it. It feels like something's biting me. But shingles run a course of a vein, of a nerve. It runs a course of a nerve, and they're blisters. This, I used to have her pictures on my phone, but some kind of way I deleted it. This looks horrible. The hand is swollen, the whole arm. She couldn't move the arm, not my daughter, this other person. She couldn't move the arm, but she went and took the medication for shingles. But as soon as I gave her a vitamin C IV, I gave her glutathione IV push. And as soon as we did all of that, and put the Argentine ointment, not the spray, but the ointment, it all cleared up. It cleared up.
But once there's a big thing going on in the French Caribbean islands where they are refusing to take the vaccine big time, to the point where there was one incident where they even burnt down a particular clinic that supplied the vaccine.
Really?
That's how much they'd set against taking this vaccine. And some of them stumble across this this drug that's been out there, that I heard there's
ivermectin.
Ivermectin. I want to know your thing on that, because obviously
anybody want it. I personally do too many other things. I'm not going to take it. So I do the IVs. I'm taking quercetin. I do the vitamin D. I do glutathione sometimes. IM injections. I do it IV. And there's other things I'm taking. So quercetin, it's the same as the other one, the hydro. And it's the same thing. It's just in a natural form. It's quercetin. Your vitamin D level. Everybody, please sign out your vitamin D 25 hydroxy blood level. 60 and over, you don't come down with, like heart disease and certain forms of cancer. And I give vitamin D IM injections, but you can take it by mouth. But make sure you repeat your blood test to make sure it's been absorbed properly. Because a lot of people have been taking it, and then I do the blood test, and it's very low. So when I give a shot of like 5,000 to 10,000 IM, the levels get up faster, but it's not like a rush, but it goes, and you won't have a problem. With that, it gets rid of snoring, respiratory disorders. It's amazing with vitamin D, especially in IM form. Before they pull it off the market.
Vitamin
D is in David. Yeah.
Right. So you're saying too much of it is?
No, too much is fine. You don't want to go over. I would not have a level over 80. I wouldn't have to me personally, I wouldn't do it over 80. There's some doctors that I know or taking people up to 100, their blood levels could be 100. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. So I feel if you have a level between 60, definitely 60, because at 60, you don't have heart attack, you don't have certain form of cancer, just with vitamin D. So they played it down, even respiratory, sleep apnea, all these things are connected to low vitamin D levels. So once you get those levels up, you can correct a lot of that.
And I take vitamin D every day, but I thank you for reminding me I should check my blood levels. But I take it because of our melanin, we don't absorb as much vitamin D from the sun as everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
Well, that goes for most vitamins. You know, a lot of the things that are on the market are geared towards the European market, the very ones who produce the stuff. You know, it's almost like, not that I'm veering from the subject again, but it's almost like prostate, the test for prostates. They tell you it's 55 years of age when it comes to the male, but for the black man, it should be 10 years before. This is what I'm saying, because our body chemistry is not, you know, it has a different setup.
And the same thing with colorectal cancer. And before my phone dies, also inflammatory breast cancer. Inflammatory breast cancer is hitting a lot of our people of color. 14% of inflammatory breast cancer are men. 14%. You're not going to find it on a mammogram. You're not going to find it on an ultrasound. You're going to find it on an infrared. And I'm the only one in the world that has this machine in my office. It's called the CRT 2000 thermographic machine. You can Google it. I'm the only one that I talk to these people. They're nothing but the universe, nothing but God. They gave me this $25,000 machine so I can offer it for free. And people should be beating down my doors. It's so hard to get people in here to get the test done. All other nationalities come and get it done, but my people, it's really hard.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for 18 years. 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is great. And so we're gonna drop all your info, and this is I'm recording this so everyone will have this information. And meanwhile, Dr. Takara just flew in from Honolulu. She would like to read a special poem dedicated to you,
Wonderful.
Dr. and David. And her daughter
I'm gonna see if I can get everything going.
Dr. Takara and Carla Brundage have a special poems to read for both of you in your honor, and Michael too in heaven. And then they have.
Oh yes.
But we will get all of Dr. Lee's fabulous medical information. I'm recording this. I'm going to send it to everybody, and I'll also send everybody the links to healing, as well as all of David's new music too.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been an honor and a blessing to be here. Thank you, Shelah, for inviting me. Thank you. And look at my dear, beautiful sister here. You look great, Shelah. You look great, Denise. You look great. So I'm just thankful to God. I'm just thankful the universe has really preserved and still bringing us back full circle. Because you and I, we all have history. We have history through this journey, and I'm thankful that we have that history.
Yeah.
So if I drop off, I'm still working on the computer to get going. Right now I'm on the iPhone, and it's telling me the iPhone is the battery's dying.
Oh,
I don't know.
What a blessing. What a blessing. Oh, stay in here at the porch, and if your battery dies, we're going to record this for you.
Okay, very good.
Let her go
very
ahead
good.
and say her what do you call it? Her the buttons that you made, the fabulous buttons, Shelah, that you made.
Yes, we will. Yes. I can't find mine, but
okay, here's
one.
I meant to put mine on.
Going to get one. Everyone's going to get one.
Okay.
Yes, I am so grateful that I am a magnet for miracles.
There you go.
Yes.
Oh yes, that's the one.
And this is what Michael put on his mirror. And there's a documentary that Michael did, and that's the only affirmation that's in the documentary. Is I am so grateful that I'm a magnet for miracles. That's the only one.
I am so grateful that I am a magnet for miracles.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Dr. Lee. You are so. Thank you so much for honoring us. And then now a poem in your honor. Dr. Catherine.
Okay, and I'm going to try to charge this because I want to hear it. So I'm going to work on
Yeah.
trying to hear everything, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not disappearing.
Fabulous,
Yeah.
Sheila.
Yes, we can hear you. Okay.
Okay, this
Okay,
is a
thank you
poem,
so much.
actually, this is
Yeah.
a poem that I wrote for Taj Mahal when he was in Honolulu. And I just would like to share a music poem. Hey, music man, singing, humming, whistling, calling, using that great gravelly voice, picking, strumming, foot stomping to the funky blues. Hey, magic hands on the piano, sometimes alone, sometimes with guitar and doing the ham bone, harmonica jamming, rapping, moot tapping, banjo, jaw piano, mouth harp slamming. Hey, blues man, occasionally broke, but smart. Hey, my man, throwing out trash, sweet talking blues, laying down jive, chronicling the news. You are a blues man, not new, yet always different, improvising history. Field hollers, work songs, love songs, and spirituals, gospel or rituals. Taj sharing the soul and the spirit of a people, a person in solitary places, looking for aces. The blues tells a story of past to forever, communicate consciousness, the hard times of being down, getting up, the path of Black music from African through century, long work and lean times, life on the line, moans of oppression and pain, shouts of survival again. The blues has a message, simplicity, complexity of love, life, dexterity, infinitely changing, magically repeating the lonely blues, the money blues, big city blues, the tired blues, hungover blues, jailhouse blues, two-timing lover blues, revenge-seeking blues, talk of rainstorms and baby gone blues, the begging blues, getting down, bringing it home blues, esoteric blues, like Hawaiian kauna, the double entendre, riddle blues, blues to jump and make you want to dance and thump, blues so cold and slow, you want to sink down low, blues so deep, you want to only sleep, blues so bad, you want to cry or die. You, Taj, music man, playing with the voice, playing on the thigh, Candyman crooning, singing to your baby, done wrong, gone too long blues, trying to get out of the doghouse blues. Music man, our friend, remembering the past days, the better times, the old folks, the licks and strokes, the familiar wooden porch, the juke joints, the choking joints. You sing, music man, remembering the legends and archetypes, people and places, good and bad scenes, husbands and lovers, farms and country, Stagger Lee, skinny sisters, big butt mamas, fishing holes, long poles, little red hens, deep dark dens, Frankie and Albert, the travels of Railroad Bill, and the unforgettable varieties of tasty jelly rolls. Taj sings, so irresistible. Won't you come here, sit down for a spell? We're so glad you're here, Taj, to tell your tales and provide, to bring us to your cheer as best you can, our music man. Welcome, Taj Mahal, Prince of the Blues. And I can transfer that all the way around to David, and thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay. Thank you.
Nice one. Nice one.
All right. And
Nice.
now Carla Brundage is a Fulbright scholar, and you have a better chance of being struck by lightning than to become a Fulbright scholar. Struck by lightning or a Fulbright scholar. Carla Brundage is a Fulbright scholar. So we're gonna hear her read next.
I know, I was gonna say that. So my mom was too. She wants you to know.
Oh, you're my okay. Two full.
Lightning strikes.
We've been struck by lightning twice.
Where, here?
Yeah.
So I was gonna read a short poem, and then my mom will wrap out our
Hi,
set.
Ben. Okay, Ben Hunter.
Yeah.
Ben, you just missed the beginning poem. That was a poem that you could relate to. But anyway, go ahead, Carl. Welcome, Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben.
All right,
You
my
see me?
poem. No, we
Turn your
don't.
camera on.
Huh?
Turn your camera on.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, Carla.
Okay, this was inspired by actually also a jazz poem. Womb dancing. Hair is electric. Women move in rhythmic trances. Womb dancing, following notes with their hips, stopping drum beats with their thighs, swallowing entire sections of bass, thoughts, the position got soul, because they keep getting it and birthing it and rising it higher than they imagined. Voices come in different shapes and melt like colors into choruses of purple and orange, each moving in and out of each other like raindrops, while women move in the warmth of raining notes of bass beat blues and reds until the saxophone calls them back and they float upwards, clouds of color, into the sky, gathering old spirits and giving them new life.
Beautiful. Thank you so
Beautiful.
much.
Yes. Very descriptive.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Takara.
I have one other one, and it's your sax.
Okay.
Rhapsody on a saxophone. Memories of you, split lip and worrying, waiting to get back to your old lady, your real love, your horn. Jazz skipped from your fingers of soul through your lips, alive and variable like winds in January, insistent as Coltrane, strident as bebop. Your energy rushed by like the crazed wind, a whirling riff, high to low, plunging, piercing, permeating, penetrating, creating ecstasy, not to be repeated ever again in the same way. Was it a dream? Am I still seeking you? Sometimes your riffs and magic tunes seem sweet unto tears, like starlight to my ears. I have never forgotten your kiss of music. You and me together creating under the jazz of starlight and melody of a passing moon. Echoes of your sax imprint my being.
Beautiful.
Right.
Thank you so much. All right, the poet ladies, thank
Having us.
you.
Thank you.
And we have another entertainer who is joined to pay tribute to David Hinds and Dr. Lee and MJ in heaven, and that's Ben Hunter. He's joins us from New Orleans, and he would like to say hi to you, Dr. Lee, and you, David, and
Right.
give tribute to both of you. And Michael. Hi, Ben.
What's up, Dave? Doc?
All right, respect, sir.
No, I just want to say hey.
And,
No,
and, his
I'm
lovely
good.
wife, and his lovely wife, Aminata. You can't
All
forget.
right.
Yeah.
Hi, Aminata. Hi.
All right.
Can you maybe sing us an a cappella version of the first Michael Jackson song that pops in your head?
Who, me?
Yes, that's you.
You are not alone.
ABC. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. All simple as do, re, mi.
Yep.
Kind of like going around this house right this moment.
Nice one.
Yes. So this is, and thank you everybody for joining the Michael Jackson Birthday Club virtual Halloween ceremony. We celebrate the birthdays, August 29th, the same birthday as Michael, Carla Brundage, Christy Archimont, Julie Machin's sister. Julie, that's Julie with the cowboy hat on. Say hi, Julie. Julie? I should get here. Hi. So, and Kelly Armstrong, Kelly Armstrong is an image consultant and professor. She sprained her ankle today. She has a fabulous pink cast on now. She was supposed to be here, Kelly, but she sends her regards. But in wrap up, Is there anything anybody else would like to say before Julie closes with prayer?
I would like to share about the time that I performed with Michael.
Oh my! Cousin is full of surprises. Please tell us.
So it was 1993.
Uh-huh.
It was the Super Bowl performance.
Uh-huh.
He enlisted dance teams from across Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
And so I, as a cheerleader and dance, and I was on a dance team, there were about, I don't know, a lot of schools and a lot of girls. We would meet on Saturdays at a high school and practice. They didn't tell us what we were there for. They just say, you're going to help with this performance, learn this routine. So we did that. We got these boards and we didn't have music. They taught us to like an 8 count on what to do. Maybe a couple weeks before, they told us, okay, you're going to be performing with Michael Jackson.
Wow.
Me
Wow.
being like the biggest Michael Jackson fan, we had debates about Prince, Michael. I was always Michael. So it's like, perform with Michael Jackson? What? You're kidding. So they gave us outfits, and then we practiced with the music. So the day of the Super Bowl, I'm thinking, we're going to meet Michael face to face. But no, we were on a school bus for like the first 2 hours of the game. And they brought us out during halftime and we performed on the field. I don't know if you guys remember, but there were all these people on the field and we had boards and they were flipping the colors. It was like, you're black, we're white. Yeah, yeah. And then at the end, we opened them and there were colors and he ended with Heal the World. Do you remember that? And then all of the people on the field, I was one of those people. And it was the best. It was the best day ever. Like when he popped out over here and he popped out over there. And I'm from Pasadena, so even performing at the Rose Bowl was a big deal for me. And then add Michael on top of that, it was like the best day.
That is best. And see, that's my cousin, and I never knew that. And I'm from Pasadena, and that's the first time hearing the story.
Right.
How
That's so
magic!
cool.
Wow. Yeah.
And you even performed at the Super Bowl too. So Michael Jackson and the Super Bowl.
At the Rose Bowl.
At the
I'm
Rose
gonna
Bowl.
watch it on YouTube and look for you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You won't see me. I know around where I was, but
That is awesome. That is awesome, Erica. Thank you for sharing. And I touched Michael at Neverland after he was coming back from the trial. I went there to support him. He was coming in a black minivan and all the fans were lined up to meet him.
Right.
It was pouring down rain. I was outside in Neverland and I screamed, Michael, I love you. And the security guard said, you're going to get hit by the car. But I just kept going and following. I grabbed Michael's hand and I gave him an African necklace.
Okay.
Hand came out and took the necklace and the window shot back up. He never responded to that letter that I gave him, telling him how much I love him or whatever. But that's fine. He's Michael Jackson. So yeah. So that's
He probably got a million of those letters.
Yeah.
Right. And they're probably still in a box at Neverland. So that's my story. I was surprised at how gracious he was and how fine he was. I mean, this dude was cleaner than a broke-dick dog, as Miles Davis would say. He had his gold vest on and his hair was laid and he walked in. I think Dr. Lee will attest to the fact that what confidence that he walked with. He was not defeated. His spine was straight and his head was on straight, right, Dr. Lee?
Oh, yes.
Yes. And he knew exactly who he was, even though people are trying to put him in jail and all that.
Yes.
And I think Denise had a story about meeting him you met him at the MGM, right?
At Caesar's Palace. Yeah, at Caesar's Palace. He was shopping and at Caesar's Palace, he was shopping. He came in and of course he was mobbed. When the gate came up, he was shopping for the kids. Michael Jordan and Caesar's Palace, I don't know if anybody knows that they have an actual basketball court in Caesar's Palace here in Las Vegas. And he was shopping next door. And they were so surprised after they came out and they were showing me the receipt. And I was like, what? They were like, he bought all this stuff for the children, and we're going to go over there and donate all this stuff to the children. So he was very, very giving all the time, very, very giving. And every time he came through Caesar's Palace, you could just hear the screams and the roars. And knowing me, thought I was going to stay at work. I was out there.
You're out there.
We walked shoulder to shoulder together through the casino. Oh yeah, they thought I was going to work. So I'm like, I'm leaving.
Right.
So it was very gracious to meet him, and he was very quiet, and very modest and very, warm and just loving, to the people that were around him. And he just stood in confidence, like you said, Shelah, just stood in total confidence with his head up high. And I just was like, okay, well, if you're gonna walk this way, I'm gonna walk next to you. We walked through the casino and just, a few words, and just walking, just very, very gracious as he was going to the basketball thing. So I just walked almost there, and then, we parted ways. I didn't move security out the way, Secret Service.
And
it was a great,
yeah. Yeah,
great time.
And we're talking about gratitude and humility are two qualities that Michael had that you don't see in a lot of performers. David has it. David would always stay and talk with fans after a show. Dr. Lee has it. She'll always, people recognize Dr. Lee in the supermarket. You're going to stand there talking with her for a half hour and sometimes getting some medical advice. So, I love the performance, and Ben too. Ben is very humble and very gracious. So gratitude is a lot of things, something. Oh, I'm sorry. Dr. Lee's raising her hand.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Yes.
Oh, okay, because I took the mic off. Okay, this is what I wanted to quickly share. We know that he had problems with insomnia, but a lot of times late at night, Michael would be over at the hospitals, the children's hospitals, and going in. He didn't even want people to know he had donated the money. He said, who is having like surgery? Who is having a condition that the family doesn't have enough money, and he would just give it to the hospital for that family member. And a lot of people didn't even know that. Some we knew because he was in the media, but a lot of times he didn't want it in the media. He just wanted to help the family.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
He was unbelievable.
He
just unbelievable. He would even ask me, do you have a patient that need my help?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
he asked me that my mother because I was my mother's caregiver while I was working with Michael, because my mother had really bad seizures and dementia. And while I was working with her, I would leave Michael at 1:00 in the morning and drive 28 miles to be with my mother and go home the next day. And he would say, he didn't even know I was doing that. He just said, let me know if your mother needs anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or of any patient. Yeah.
Wow. That is incredible.
Yeah.
He was right around.
Yeah.
Always
right
reaching
around,
out
have his
to others.
drivers.
Yes.
Yeah, right around Vegas all night. And just have his drivers ride him around because he couldn't sleep. So that was one of the things that he did.
But people thought that he was depressed. Michael, I would think sometime getting to his house, maybe they auctioned off everything. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, when I get there, he's probably going to be depressed. Michael was the upbeat, happiest person you can ever meet. Always joyful. Again, go and listen to the story of the eagle, the life story of an eagle. You have choices you can make. And he chose not to be that little chick and listen to all that gossip and chirping and stuff. He chose not to do that. The eagle has to make a choice whether to live or die. He has to pull off all of his feathers. And there's several things he has to do. Sitting in a mountaintop, he can either sit there and die, or he can painfully knock his beak off, do all those things, and sit there in the coldness. And then he flies away and lives for another 30 years as a brand new eagle. Yeah. You have to go look at the journey of an eagle. It's very powerful. Very powerful.
Journey of the Eagle. Wow. Thank you, Dr. Lee. That was so inspiring. And thank you, everybody, I am so grateful and so humbled that you gave up your Saturday afternoon for us, for me. You all are the most beautiful friends I could ever have in my life. And to come here and to support MJ, which is a lot MJ is the reason why a lot of us are connected, other than my cousin, because we're created, biologically. But I know you had other things to do, and you chose to be with me, and thank you so much. And I bow to you right now.
And I'm honored. I'm honored to have been called. Thank you.
And my high school friend and running buddy, Julie Machen, class of '84, Kaiser High School. Yay! We'll take us out in prayer. Oh, she lives on a ranch in Texas, so I call it Neverland Southwest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Julie will close us out in the prayer.
Okay.
Could everybody hear?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Can you hear me
the silent
now?
prayer.
Yeah, now we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Amen. Father God, I am just so blown away today by just the sharing of our two guests, that they just made time just to share their stories, share their success, share their lives with us, Father, and also with the two poems, Father, that I just blown away by the humility of people just to share their craft with other people, and how Michael Jackson was just like that, God. He shared his heart with all of us and bettered all of our lives, from just as we're children, as people of color, just looking at somebody doing amazing things and breaking barriers, Father, or just his music that touched different parts of our souls and came to us just at the right time, Father. We're just so grateful for just people's talents in the world, and people willing to share their talent to make the world a better place, Father. I pray right now that you watch over everybody today as we go on our separate journeys. We're from all over the world, Father, and watch over us as we get through this next year, 21, with illnesses and wars and everything to bring the negativity, that we can all just be beacons of light in this world. I just so grateful that we got to have Michael Jackson for a while on this earth, just to show us humility and love and talent and everything, Lord. And I just thank you so much for this time, and bless everyone here. It's in your son's Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I love you. I love you, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
And thank you there,
Bye-bye.
Sheila, for inviting us.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.